Hi, I'm Rob the accountant. I like to help people build companies while finding solutions to problems that may come your way. I got you. Democrats betray Democrats. That's what I said. Democrats betray Democrats. And I'm really starting to think that there needs to be some type of new leadership at the Democratic Party. It has forgotten the people it is supposed to represent. It has failed to put people before profits. It has failed to help any worker in this country. It has failed in everything being so expensive in this country. And so, like everything else, which, again, I'm going to come out and say this over and over and over again. I am not a Trump supporter. I'm not going to vote for him. I don't know how you arrest him for things that you are also guilty of. Senator Biden, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. I mean, you did the same thing and nobody came after you folks, and you guys weren't even the president when you guys did it. So what bothers me tonight is that you have to go all the way to progressive Portland, Oregon, to see what's going on in Washington, D.C., and how Democrats are once again thwarting the will of the voters. And just, it's always precedents and institutions when it's the other side. I kind of like precedents and institutions. I really do. I think it's good for us. I think it's good to have things that are standing principles and long-held beliefs of this country. I don't think that's a bad thing. But what I don't understand is why one side meets with the enemy to conspire. The enemy of my enemy is my friend? Yeah, really? I didn't think that's how politics work, but maybe if that's how politics is working, and since none of us at the bottom are getting anywhere, and we're not making any more money because everyone keeps taking it, and every time you go to the store, it's more expensive, and every time you go to the gas station, it's more expensive. And this is why. So let's take a look. Democrats meet with anti-Trump conservatives to fight no labels third party 2024 bid. Think about that, folks. Democrats are meeting with conservatives. Look, I don't have a problem with any political party in this country, but I'm a Democrat. And so typically the Democratic Party and conservative wings of the Republican Party aren't always aligned, even 10% of the time. So why you would get in bed with them now? What's the reasoning? Oh, I know why. Because you're still scared of Trump, even though you have criminal persecution going on in New York City, criminal persecution going on in Florida, and probably be criminal persecution going on in Georgia. You still understand that when you look at the options, sorry, Joe Biden and Trump, then the margins are small. It's not going to go Biden's way. And anyone who works in this country, who I call the silent majority, the W-2 wage earners are the silent majority in this country. That group of people, they're not voting for Joe Biden again. You can make Trump out to be everything you hate. You can make him be the devil. You can make him be a demon. But if you put him up against Biden, then Biden's going to lose. And so I think Biden and Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein, I think they all know this. So that's why they're going to meet. So top Democratic strategists, including current advisors to President Biden and former U.S. senators, met last week for former Republicans who opposed Donald Trump at the offices of a blah who cares where. Their mission to figure out how to subvert a potential third-party presidential bid by the group No Labels. No Labels is a group led by Senator Joe Lieberman, a Democrat. I don't recall if he was from Connecticut or Rhode Island. I apologize, but he was a Democratic senator for a long time. Certainly not more center-right than center-left. And so the No Labels group agreed that No Labels running a third-party candidate risked undermining Biden's reelection and would help reelect Donald Trump to the White House. So the broad show of force at the off-the-record gathering with about 40 people in the room. And think about that. Think about that, America. Think about that, Democrats. 40 people. 40 people decide what's good for me and you. They tell us how to live. And they can't even manage or control their own lives. What gives them the right to come and try to stave off what they say are free elections, right? We're free elections. They're conspiring with other campaigns and other branches to do what? The Republican and Democrats are going to go on a joint fundraiser so they can stop Donald Trump? Is this even a Democratic Party anymore? What does it stand for? Who does it stand for? What does it stand for? I know what I think it stands for me. I'm not sure it's anywhere near what it stands for the current leaders. But I digress. Attendees included former White House Chief of Staff Ron Klein, DNC Senior Advisor Cedric Richmond, and Stephanie Cutter. Folks should know Stephanie Cutter. She was in the Obama administration for 8 years, a former campaign advisor to Barack Obama. They were joined by former Senators Doug Jones, Democrat of Alabama. I don't know why Doug Jones is there, because he's probably going to lose his next election. That was, I don't know, as a fluke in Alabama, and that probably won't happen again, and I think he knows that. So Heidi, I don't know how to say her name well, so she was another one. I think Trump was after her in North Dakota. She was probably, I think she was voted out. Claire McCaskill in Missouri. I'm sure Josh Hawley is the one that replaced her. That's what you got. You voted out Claire McCaskill and you got Josh Hawley. Woo! And then anti-Trump Lincoln Project former Weekly Standard publisher Bill Kristol, Lucy Cadwell, and there's another one because they forget that the Lincoln Project, Donald Trump's lady, I forget her name, her husband was the one of the lawyers for that group. So, but anyways, it says, I see a group under a catchy slogan that is misleading at best, saying that they have the country's best interest at heart when the exercise will do nothing but elect Donald Trump. Well, how would that be possible? I mean, more choices is good, right? Not less choices, more choices. When you have more choices, you feel better about life, don't you? You don't go to McDonald's and go, great, there's 2 choices here, do you? Nah, it doesn't really work that way. But what I don't understand is, how are they so certain? Do their polls tell them something? And if that's the case, why aren't we having a Democratic primary? Which I think we kind of are with a couple candidates, and there may be a few more I hear down the road. Who knows? But No Labels, a nonprofit group that does not disclose its donors. That always sounds great, right? Democratic Party with hidden money. Wonderful, because whenever there's hidden money, it generally means that the policies are going to work out for the little guy. That's usually what that means, right? I don't think that's how it works. Anyways, has been that does not disclose its donors, has been working to qualify a new party of the same name for state ballots in 2024. That could be used by an independent, bipartisan presidential ticket in case the major parties nominate unacceptable candidates. Think what they're saying. I mean, what more do you need? That's verge of dictatorship, right? I mean, if the major parties nominate 2 candidates, then I think the people have deemed those are the candidates that they want, right? Who gives anybody the right to come in and say, "Oh, but these two are unacceptable. Unacceptable. Let me throw my hat in the ring and disrupt it for everybody." That's not democracy. That's not very American. So they're saying Trump is unacceptable while telling others that they would not move forward if Florida Governor Ron DeSantis wins the Republican nomination. Wow. So it seems like Biden's going to negotiate with a group that seems pretty certain that they want Ron DeSantis. They just don't want Donald Trump. So they'll use Biden and his team to undermine everybody else, including Trump, when at the end of the day they want Ron DeSantis. And so when they have effectuated that policy through this, I don't know, this betrayal of a relationship, then what are they going to do? They're just going to go out and support DeSantis anyway. So I call mini Hitler. That's who he is. He's the worst out of all of them. But I don't think anybody in the United States of America at this time is going to vote for Ron DeSantis. I think he's kind of shown that he's his woke ideology, whatever that means, nobody knows, and him going after people. I don't think the American people really want somebody who wants to target them. Who does? Thought we lived in a country where it was freedom. So anyways, the group has declined to say definitively that it views Biden as unacceptable, though many Democratic strategists fear the effort will move forward if Biden and Trump are the nominees. And it doesn't matter if the group moves forward. If Biden and Trump are the nominees, Trump is going to beat Biden. And Democrats, the sooner you get your heads out of your asses and the sooner one of us falls on the sword to do what needs to be done, the better the country will be as a whole. And I'm sorry, Gavin Newsom is just not it. And what they're doing to Senator Feinstein and not letting at least the governor of California pick the next senator from California, that's just as disgusting. People should go and view that. But all these things just keep coming back. And it's almost as though the Democratic Party, just the leadership, just wants to betray its folks. But the problem I see with betraying your voting bloc is they're going to get angry and want blood, because that's how you push everything, right? If you don't get your way, then it's anger. And so the way you stopped the anger the last time is you got Bernie Sanders to concede again, so that, there was no anger at anybody. But this time, they're going to not vote for you, Biden. So what does that mean? Is the Arizona Democratic Party has sued to kick no labels off the ballot in the state? Wow, I thought Putin did that. I thought Putin saw political parties he didn't like, and he went to make sure they weren't part of the political process. What drives me crazy is that we live in America, and it should be more than two parties, but it's not more than two parties. And so it's like a husband and wife. They agree sometimes, they don't agree sometimes. Sometimes they agree to disagree. But you can never have complete agreement with just two people. There's always going to be somebody who feels they're on the lower end of the argument or on the winning side of the argument. So I don't see the issue with having more parties. More parties means more discussions, more ideas. I don't think Senator Joe Lieberman's No Label Party is the party that's going to bring that discussion to the world. But the fact that the Arizona Democratic Party feels strong enough to sue them, think about that, people. We should be supporting democracy and voting. When you have 100 million people out of 300 million people voting, that's a problem, because the masses as a whole believe the system is rigged. And when you come back up here and you see that not the Washington Post, not the New York Times, not any of the mainstream media wants to talk about this, but you got to go all the way across the country to the Portland Press Herald to find out that Democrats once again are backstabbing. Sort of like healthcare with Obama, right? It didn't really get any cheaper. for anybody. Nobody got better health care. I'm sorry, Obama. And everyone paid more money, and nobody really knows what we paid more money for. But we all paid more money. And thank God that we don't have the Obamacare penalty, because that was whacking people between $600 and $1,000. And it's one more thing that, why do you keep taking people's money? You just print it anyways. I don't understand. Do it my way or I'll penalize you. You vote that guy, we don't like him, we're going to throw a different guy. The political class, you are the traitors. The American people are just fine. And I don't know what you're trying to cause or what it is, but it needs to stop. There's no reason for anyone in America to truly be angry. We have a good system here, but we have a good system run by morons. And we all have to look in the face, in the mirror, and say, what can we do to change that? And we're not going to change the system, but we can push policies forward, like maybe some term limits for these folks. I think 24 years is good. 24 years is enough for state stability, but it allows people to know that they're not going to be there forever. Again, Dianne Feinstein is what, 91, 92. She gets wheeled in on a wheelchair. Nowhere in the United States would a rational company employ Dianne Feinstein today. And it's not because she's a woman. This is same of Joe Biden. He's probably not going to get another election. Maybe he does some good things. Maybe he doesn't. But everybody knows. I mean, when you're tripping over cords on stages all the time, it just, people a little bit younger can see that you're just not as fit as somebody who is younger. I don't. That's not a slight. Normally, we respect our elders in this country, and we let them go off to Florida where they can go on a beach, or some go into assisted living and some go into senior homes. Pick your poison, whatever you want to do. But No Labels fired back on Tuesday with a letter asking for evidence because the Arizona Democratic Party said that they basically lied on all their signatures. And so, again, it doesn't matter, it seems, whether the Democratic Party believes in what its allegations are. If they don't like you, it seems, which it's sad. I don't know where I'm going to go. But if they don't like you, then it's Trump and collusion. And if you're Senator Joe Lieberman, which was a Democrat for 22 years, and you have a different idea that might lead a different way, which is your perfectly American right to do, and your entitled belief system to push that forward, the Arizona Democratic Party calls you Trump. And that's not nice. That's not cool. So I don't really think that we need to. Oh, wait, let's jump in, because I'm sorry. I was going to cut it there, but then, we have to throw in the black issue, right? And so the black issue has to be abused and put into every single thing, and yet nobody in the brown or black community gets anything. We don't get jobs. There's no construction jobs because illegal immigration is just flooding the country with workers who work for much less. But let's see what Benjamin Chavez Jr., former executive director of the NAACP, who now works with No Labels, said. The people working to stop the group misunderstand its intentions, are undermining the electoral process. No Label leaders have said they will decide in 2024 whether to move forward with a presidential campaign based on whether there's a clear path to victory with named candidates. I've spent my entire life in the Democratic Party championing civil and voting rights, and I've always believed our democracy is stronger when there are more voices and choices in our political process. That's why I was so disturbed to hear that a group of my friends and leaders in the Democratic Party recently convened to try to undermine No Labels 2024. But he has no problem with Joe Biden taking black people's cigarettes, right? He's worried about undermining because, black people can't get up and go to the polls. I think black and brown does that just fine every time there's an election. But he's worried that is going to undermine because their little political group isn't going to be on a ballot. That's going to undermine the whole process. And once again, what happens is then it becomes a racist issue, and it has nothing to do with race. And if you actually asked anybody who was brown or black about no labels and Senator Joe Lieberman, and they knew who was at the helm of the group, I'm pretty sure none of them would vote for the group anyways. But when you're always throwing skin color or ideology or somebody's belief structure into the debate, it's never goes anywhere. And what this is about is that the Democratic Party is colluding with Republicans and conservatives to stop Trump when Joe Biden has already had Trump arrested. So it just seems a little strange that you're still so worried. And what I want to ask everyone before I cut this mic tonight is why Bill Clinton get to lie under oath, why he got to take the Monica Lewinsky tapes, why Senator Hillary Clinton, people forget, was a New York senator, why she, as Secretary of State, was allowed to have classified materials in her computers, and why the FBI director came out and said no reasonable prosecutor would prosecute Hillary Clinton, but suddenly we have a reasonable prosecutor prosecuting a president who was entitled to the documents to begin with. And Democrats, you think rational, W-2 minded people, the silent majority, which is the W-2 majority that works every day of the week. You think they want more eggs at $5 a dozen? You think they want more gas at $5 a gallon? You think we want more electricity bills and heating bills that are unaffordable to everybody? What have you done to make anybody's life easier in the last 2.5 years? Because I've been looking, and I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt, and I understand that we have a Supreme Court justice who is black, but you had that agreed to prior to being nominated. It was a condition of your nomination. We all know this. But short of that, what have you done? You're taking cigarettes from black people. You're colluding with Republicans and conservatives, folks who are so opposed to the Democratic platform. But you want to come together, and you don't realize that when the whole world keeps seeing a group of bullies just beating up maybe still another bully, sooner or later the tide turns for the person who keeps getting beaten up. I'm Rob the accountant. I've got you. And I really wish Joe Biden would just cut this out. I wish Senator Schumer, I wish Nancy Pelosi, I wish all of them, please start doing something for the people of this country who have to work every day, who have to live in apartments that are literally thousands of dollars a month. And you want to come out and tell everyone we have to have electric cars, we got to do this and we got to do that. My idea is just let people be free. I don't see the big problem with that. I thought that's what this country was built on. Freedom. Live free, ride free, die free. I'm Rob the accountant. Have a great week.